What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here. We've got Freddie from The Ugly Inside, great Southampton channel. Go check them out. We're going to grab his thoughts on the game, so let's get into it.
All right, so obviously a couple of weeks ago we played at Wembley. It was a bit of a battering. It finished 5-2 to Spurs. We actually haven't spoken since that game. So obviously since that game I think you picked up a draw against Watford. I can't remember the other result you got. But what are your thoughts going into this game based on the game at Wembley?
There's a reason why Spurs are hot favourites and you guys and a hot streak of form. You always tend to be a hot streak of form when you come to play us. I mean, you touched upon the hammering there, ruined our Christmas. I mean, we won't expect anything from that game. But since then, we haven't changed anything and we've been playing the same way and getting the same results. So, you know, going 1-0 up, sitting on a lead, prime example, Crystal Palace on the second day of Jan. We allowed Palace to come back in where they had players to threaten us and they took 2 easy goals. Again, we sat on a lead against Watford last weekend, 2 goals this time. So it's even more of a bitter pill to swallow because it's 2 this time, you know. But also robbed by a horrific referee decision.
Yeah,
and I cannot believe that the linesman didn't spot that and he was the closest man to the ball. But yeah, we've been playing the same way and getting the same results, sitting on goals and allowing the opponents to come back. And if we do it once again on Sunday, then you know, there's an invitation for a cricket score.
Referees have been so poor this year.
Yeah, 100%. What do you think of Maurizio Pellegrino since he's come in? Obviously, you've been kind of you had who did you have? You had Puel last season, who's actually doing a good job now at Southampton. I bet you're wishing you kept him based on what's going on now. What do you think? Do you think he's going to last till the end of the season?
Really difficult to say. In hindsight, yeah, Puel did a good job, kept us 8th in the league, got us to the cup final. But Pellegrino seems like we are going backwards and regressing. And the motto of the football club is that we always move forward. But this season is the season we've been caught out, continuously selling our best players and going for the cheap option in the management. But this season, you know, Pellegrino has been clueless, useless at his substitutions. He's not proactive. He's been reactive. Like, again, prime example last weekend. You know, he hooks off 2 players at 90 minutes when he feels like he has to go for it. But that's been the story of it all season. Making the substitutions too late. 30,000 fans in the stands can see it, but the man closest on the pitch, the man on the touchline can't see it. So frustrating, disappointing, under par, I suppose.
I've seen a lot on Twitter about Southampton fans calling for Coman to come back. How would you feel about that?
Difficult one. We ran a poll on our website actually, and 60%. I think we had like over 600 votes on it over the last 24 hours. Over 60% of people would take Coman back in a heartbeat. Difficult one though. Morally, probably not, but tactically, yes. I mean, we had our probably best run of games in the Premier League when he was manager. You know, I think we beat you guys along that run as well during that season.
Yeah.
Finishing 6th in the league. Some excellent performances, exciting football as well, and he was passionate about the side. We had some really good players in that side. Mane, Pelle scoring the goals, never replaced them since then, and that's been the big issue since he left.
Obviously, you sold Virgil van Dijk in the January transfer window. You sold him for 75 million. Have you signed anyone in this window? Or is there looking? Not yet. No, still haven't replaced him. And so, but is there a lot of strong rumours? Anyone you're thinking, bring in, spending that money on?
Well, again, another frustrating situation that we're in now. 75 million. You would have expected that at least a sign or 2 would have been in so far. You know, it's the 17th of January right now. It's nearly 3 weeks into the window, and there's not been a sniff. Walcott has since signed for Everton today for 20 million. He was apparently our number 1 target. We've missed out on him because, I mean, why would you go to a team that's struggling in the Premier League, fighting for the place in the league? Whereas, you know, Everton got, let's say, more ambition, if you like, and more money. But the main rumours have been we need strikers. I don't think I would like an extra central defender to replace Virgil van Dijk, but I don't think it'll be a priority. I think a forward, we're missing the goals from Charlie Austin, and I think we need a creative attacking forward. Such in the mould as Sadio Mane. We need a player like that to drive forward fearlessly at defenders and get 10, 12 goals from midfield all season.
Is it surely someone like what's going wrong with someone like Redmond or Bufal? They're just not doing the business for you guys. Because there's the pacey wingers who.
I thought Bufal's a class player. He's just not consistent.
I think they've both got quality, but for some reason they just haven't been able to play. And you saw that whole thing with Pep Guardiola after the Southampton game, urging Redmond, why aren't you attacking? Why aren't you getting forward? And is there something to that? Why do you think they're not playing at the moment?
I think you got the nail on the head there. As an outsider, consistency. And that's the trouble that Pellegrino's had this season. He hasn't selected a consistent side. He's always making 5 or 6 changes. I'll give him a fair bit of credit. The last 2 selections, he's made 2 or 3, which is the fewest we've seen so far this season, which is baffling. We're now January, 6 months into the season, more or less. Over halfway, and he still doesn't know his best 11. Bufal, excellent player on his day, and he needs to persist with him. He has been in the starting lineup for the last few weeks and a few months now, so it's great to see him on the pitch. But Redmond, he's a confidence player, and his confidence is rock bottom right now. And I think that chat, the G-talk, sort of motivational talk he had with Pep, kind of G'd him up for about 90 minutes for the next game. He started the next game, I think, but then he's done exactly the same thing he's been doing all season. Defenders could read him like a book. The boy's got talent, but the manager isn't utilising him to the best of his ability.
So coming into the game, you've actually scored a fair few goals recently. Who should we actually fear most from your team? Who's on form?
Seeing as Charlie Austin's injured, he was your top goal scorer, I believe, wasn't he? So who's been getting the goals recently? I know Ward-Prowse got a couple on the weekend, didn't he?
Yeah, so Charlie Austin's out for 2 months. He won't be back anytime soon. To be honest, we know that's going to happen at least once over the season. He's prone for a long-term injury. It happened last season. We missed his goals then. Yeah, Ward-Prowse has been scoring in the last few weeks. Scored 1 at Fulham, scored 2 against Watford, getting into key areas of the pitch and taking his chance in the first team. Difficult to see where the rest of the goals are coming from, to be honest. I mean, Shane Long got 1. His first goal in nearly 11 months at Palace a few weeks ago. And Gabbiadini, always got talent again, but the manager's failing to utilise him. I think he scored 3 this season. And when he plays, he's got terrific movement, but the players or the management, his tactics just aren't seeing him run across the defenders. So I would like to say Gabbiadini goals, but whether he starts is a different story. I think Pellegrino is going to start with Long in the starting lineup and try and sit deep and go on the counter-attack.
It was funny with Gabbiadini because when he joined you, he really hit the ground running and scored a lot of goals. And now he can't seem to find his feet.
It's dried out a bit, hasn't it?
Scored 6 and 4 appearances for his first, about this time last season even. Lifted us up the table, you could say, got us to almost heroic debut, sort of debut. So I think it's his second appearance in the cup final. But manager's not playing him. Manager's not giving them the players the best of their ability. And also in midfield, he keeps mixing it up. Mario Lemina, player we haven't mentioned so far, 18 million, our club record signing. Mm-hmm. He's been inconsistent. He was terrific for the first few games of his Saints career this season. But again, another player that the manager isn't utilising properly. Another player that he's rotating every single week. So frustrating to watch.
Do you think, that your status as a Premier League club depends on who you signed in January? Or do you reckon you're heading for the drop at the moment? Or has things stay how they are?
A lot of people, including Nick, one of our sort of writers and founders of the fanzine, he mentioned last week, if something changes, then we stay up. And I think, 80%, 75% of the fan base right now would probably agree with that. If we continue playing exactly the same way, if we continue playing and doing the same things every week, then we're going down. Currently going into this game, it's 1 win in 11, 1 win in 12. The last win was against Everton in November. And the 4 wins that have had this season have been teams that have been at their worst. So Everton, a week before they signed Big Sam. Crystal Palace, a win earlier on this season when Hodgson literally just in the door. West Brom, 4 West Brom side. And who's the other one? I can't remember the other one. But terrible teams that we played on the day.
All right. So what's your prediction going into the game on Sunday? Obviously, it's difficult to predict anything positive for Southampton at the moment. But do you see it? You guys trying to put in a performance? Is this kind of watershed moment? Do you need to put in a performance this game, or is it a write-off for you?
sort of torn, really. I mean, you could say it's a write-off. Spurs always in a hot streak of form. Kane obviously will probably score a hat-trick again against us on Sunday. What I would like to see is a spirited performance and not sit deep and hang on to a lead. We need to go for it, take the game to Spurs. We've seen some spirited and fighting performances against, Man City this season, Man United as well. The day after, 2 days after Christmas, got a 0-0 draw at Old Trafford. I want to see some of that fight against Spurs on Sunday, but there's a reason why the bookies have Tottenham as hot favourites at the moment. It's difficult to see Saints taking anything away from it.
So we're going to get a scoreline prediction?
Yeah, are you going to commit to something?
Probably say a comfortable 2-0 Spurs.
Fair enough.
All right, cheers for joining us, Freddie. That was a good opposition preview. Check out his channel, The Ugly Inside. Link will be in the description below. It's a good Southampton fan channel. We're going to meet after the game on Sunday for sure. There'll be a fan cam, so look out for that. And
and as always,
come on, you Spurs.